Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. Welcome to Food Processing Skills Canada's Speaking Food webinar series. My name is Tracy Bernacchi-Duza, and I am the Senior Project Manager at FPSC. I'd like to introduce Kevin Elder this afternoon, who will be our moderator for our panelists. Elder's career spans continents and industries, beginning as the Vapor Heat Treatment Facility Manager at a mango plant in Australia, a role that sparked his enduring interest in food and beverage processing. Since joining Food Processing Skills Canada in 2017, Kevin has led the organization's labor market information initiatives, providing key data and insights to help shape national and regional workforce strategies. His work has strengthened FPSC's position as a trusted industry voice, and he actively represents the organization on several advisory committees. Based in Ottawa, Kevin is also a long life sports enthusiast, bringing the same passion and focus to coaching and competing as he does supporting Canada's food processing sector. Please welcome FPSC's Project and Government Relations Manager, Kevin Elder.
Thank you, Tracy, and it's my pleasure to introduce the panelists who will be doing most of the work today. So we have Miguel Garcia from Unity Technologies, where he's a senior manager. He leads the global professional training team comprising instructional designers, content creators, and technical trainers. With over 15 years of international experience at the intersection of technology, education, and workforce development, Miguel has designed impactful learning programs adopted by industries ranging from gaming and automotive to architecture and public service. He has partnered with hundreds of educational institutions to support student career readiness and professional growth. Miguel is the author of LinkedIn for Students, Graduates, and Educators, a practical guide to building a strong digital presence. Based in Texas, Miguel is committed to advancing accessible, industry-aligned training around the world. And Miguel will be joined today by Jason Crawford. Jason is the Director of Membership and the Industry Liaison at Food and Beverage Ontario, a role that he has held for over a decade. Throughout his career, he has built an exceptional reputation as a trusted advisor and colleague to industry leaders and representatives across the entire food value chain. A champion of B2B engagement, sector partnerships, and industry conversations, Jason leads premier industry events, including the annual conference and Inclusive Leadership Forum. Additionally, Jason heads employer engagement for the Careers Now program, where he consults with businesses to help them build a strong and skilled workforce for the future. And lastly, they are joined by another Jason Chang. Jason Chang is the Manager of Programs at the Ontario Chamber of Commerce, where he leads the design and execution of innovative initiatives that support the Chamber's 60,000 members across 140 local chambers and boards of trade. A passionate advocate for disability inclusion, Jason contributes his expertise to both the Discoverability Network and the Hire for Talent Advisory Board. Outside of work, Jason is an accomplished curling athlete, most recently representing Canada at the 2025 Asian Winter Games, where his team placed fourth. He is also a seasoned curling commentator, providing live analysis for local and international broadcasts. So welcome, everyone. And Miguel, we'll have you present first.
All right, thank you so much, Kevin. And I'm just requesting to share my screen. All right. So you should be able to see my screen. Yes. Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm Miguel Garcia, as you heard, and I am leading our training team and helping work together with the OCC to deliver the Seeding Digital Skills program. This program, at a very high level, is looking at using our technology at Unity, which is real-time 3D. And we're using it to really help with innovation. So helping with smarter, safer, and more sustainable operations by using Unity. If you're new to some of these terms, I promise they will make a lot more sense as I go through my presentation. A little bit about our team. I work very closely with TT, who is our senior program manager. So she oversees coordination of the whole program, And as I said, my team is delivering all of our training, content, curriculum, and also delivery to participants. If you don't know about Unity, so Unity started a few decades ago now in the gaming space. So we're basically a game engine that made it very easy for the first time for just about anyone who wanted to learn the skills of video game development. However, since then, we've come quite far. That same technology that powers a majority of the world's games is now also used by many, many industries and major organizations from around the world to create 3D experiences and interactions and models and scenes that are used in a variety of different capacities. But specifically with your industry, I always like to start with let's bring it back home. What could this mean? Using Unity, using digital twins for the industry. So if you think about this, we're talking about the simulation of entire production lines from mixing, heating, cooling, packaging. How do we use digital twins to help optimize and enhance these production lines, reducing waste, increasing efficiency, but also things like testing changes. How do we test uh, in a digital environment before we make any changes in the physical environment? Also building a digital twin of facilities where you could monitor supply chains, monitor performance of those supply chains. You could even predict equipment failures based on maintenance of the machinery, based on data that you're getting from the machinery, on its output, on how efficient it is, on its temperatures. All this data can be injected into a digital twin, which helps you to make informed decisions. And if you think about teaching others, showing others, this is also a great way to do things like auditing, education, and training. So building, for example, an immersive course in VR or augmented reality, where you could teach people through these interactive experiences of your facilities. You could present packaging. You could present whatever products you can think of in a digital environment where people can train on things like food safety, compliance, how to use equipment without actually having to spend a lot of time on the factory floor. Things like
Miguel,
this.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, I'm going to interrupt you, but I don't think you're sharing your screen because people aren't seeing it.
Oh, it says on my side that let me try that again.
Yeah, there we go.
Are you seeing it?
Yeah, I am now. That's much better.
Okay, great.
But
I'm
I'm
glad you caught me
seeing
there at the
your,
beginning.
yeah, I'm not seeing the presentation though. I'm seeing your actual screen. Imagine a future. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
Oh, that is what I'm showing.
That is okay.
Oh, okay. Let me go back then. I was showing the right thing. Yeah. Yes, the slide should say imagine a future.
Okay, you want to try? I'm not seeing it now.
Let me try again.
There we go.
Do you see
Okay.
it?
Yep, I'm seeing it now. Perfect. There it is.
Okay, great. Thank you for letting me know. So as I said, bringing it back home, these are some of the major use cases as we look at your industry and the use of digital twins there and applying Unity. Now, when we talk about real-time tools, real-time experiences, Unity is basically providing the platform and the tools and ecosystem that brings all of these things together. So when you talk about digital twins, it's everything from bringing in that information, bringing in those models. It can be the smallest of things. It could be a bottle, it could be a piece of equipment, a tool to the biggest things you can think of, a whole factory floor, a whole production line, all in a digital environment, which you can interact with, you can do tours, you can travel, you can take it apart, you can have someone take every single part of that tool or that equipment and see those parts separately. What we call kind of explode those parts. You see everything separately. You can understand how they work together. So taking the physical and putting it into a 3D environment. But when we say real time, we also mean being able to see how those things are actually working in the real world, in a physical space. being able to see real-time data as things are traveling through your production line, actually getting data on each phase of the production, how efficient it is, if there's any problems, being able to actually visualize that, get the data so that you can monitor that very easily from your phone, your iPad, your computer. We work on a whole range of platforms and devices. And we are doing this across many industries today. So these are not things that we're imagining or saying, are far in the future. Many industries are actually using Unity today, from automotive to manufacturing, construction, medical, to actually do all of this. And that's why it's so exciting to really show how this can work within your own businesses as well. Now, when we look at Unity and the value that we're delivering, really to simplify the message here is we're taking what was static and flat and linear and turning that into the real-time 3D and interactive experience that I've been talking about. So to illustrate this a little bit more, we put some very short clips there. But if you think about something like a construction site, think about your own business. Imagine a future where somebody could pick up a device, whether this is an iPad as you're seeing here, or their phone, and they could point it to anywhere in your business on the factory floor. They could point it at a product, and they could actually look at information that would pop up and populate and tell them what am I looking at. And not only that, they could actually manipulate it in a 3D environment, digital space, and they could even share that and collaborate with others at the same time. So as they're pointing that device, they could see that. You would build that experience. So if you think about from an auditing perspective, from an education perspective, from a sales and marketing perspective, there's so many different use cases when it comes to something like that. When it comes to things like real-time asset operations, so again, wearing a VR or AR device, and suddenly you have that data come alive in front of you, where you're able to look at your operations and you're able to get real-time data, the temperature of machines, how well they're performing. Is there any concerns, in terms of maintenance coming up soon? Is it something that needs to be looked at? So it would send you an alert, for example, and you could visualize this again in that 3D digital environment. And then in terms of simulations, so a lot of our customers are also using digital twins from a security standpoint. So you could actually see a layout of your facility, and you can see everything from people using their key card to access certain parts of the building. You could see security feeds, so camera information coming in and also being visualized in that environment. But also, if you think about efficiency, what parts of the building are being used more than others? So if you think about electricity, if you think about water, utilities, customers also have used digital twins to understand and get this data and then make decisions on using and being more efficient, basically. And even things like foot traffic, looking at how many people are entering a space. And then if you ever want to make modifications, how will those modifications have an impact? Being able to actually test that and run that simulation before you ever make a decision. And then why Unity? Very quickly, it's very easy to distribute. Anything that I'm showing you here, it's very easy to share with others, even if they don't have access to Unity. So to share your models, these scenes, to get people to interact with whatever it is that you create, these interactive experiences are easily shared with anyone that has an internet connection, basically. You could share a link with them and immediately they're there. They're immersed in that environment. They can manipulate it. They can get all this data themselves. So it's very easy to share these things. If you have data, it's unlocking the siloed data around your business. You're getting real-time insights, and it's very immersive and understandable. It's very easy to use the technology for someone that just needs to view it and needs to interact with it. The curriculum as a whole, we're running a curriculum of 12 sessions, 3 hours each, very interactive. We have expert trainers that are delivering this, And as part of the experience, we're asking people to also bring in their own ideas, share projects, things that you're working on. So a big value of this program is not only what we as Unity are sharing with you, or our use cases and our ideas. We're also having a discussion and inviting people to not only share their ideas, but also if you do have anything today in your businesses, or anything from a digital environment or CAD models, anything that you have today that you want to test and you want to bring into Unity, you also have the option to do that. So it's not a requirement of the program, but you're able to bring that into Unity if you would like. At the end of the program, we do want to leave you with something that you're proud of and that you can present back to your businesses. So we do want to leave you with a project, a prototype that you can take as something that you can continue to build upon if you want. You can continue to learn. The program itself is going to give you the foundations, but digital twins, it's a journey, right? It's a journey of years that organizations take, but we're going to get you there to build the fundamentals and the foundation, and then give you the tools and resources and the access to our industry license to be able to continue to use that for up to a year after the program. And here very quickly, just to show you, I was saying, this is a journey that takes years. A lot of people, oh, am I going to be able to build my factory? And not in 12 weeks. However, there's many levels of digital twins. So from the very simple twin, the virtual twin that I was showing you, being able to bring those models and visualize them relatively quickly, that's something that is very feasible within the time frame. But as you look at all the data, some of the other visualizations that you were seeing there with data coming in, people able to look at that within a 3D environment. Some of those larger projects, we are talking about, years in the making. However, that being said, there's value in each one of these phases, from the virtual twin, connected twin, to getting more into the prescriptive twin, autonomous twin with AI. So over time, getting all those data and insights, the system can learn, and you can train it to almost become autonomous, right? Where it's able to make decisions, informed decisions based on the historical data and the analysis of data that's coming in. And this again is just to illustrate, all of the different types of industries that are using Unity. So you see someone pointing it into an empty space, and they want to make a change to the reception space. They want to add maybe a machine into the space. They want to visualize that, point it, and see, would this, first of all, would it fit, right? How would that, today you can see that with Amazon. I don't know if everyone's ever tried, but if you think about buying a couch or buying some furniture, you can actually point your phone and put it in your environment, in your physical space. And that in itself is a digital twin. But things also as connected twins, if you have, if we think about logistics, so trucks, ships, anything that is going from point A to point B, that's also a digital twin, visualizing those ships, those trucks, those vehicles, what they're carrying, how long it's taking them, what's the most efficient path, how long it's taking them to get from point A to point B. And then eventually the predictive, prescriptive, and the autonomous, that is, years of development, but you get to the point where all that data is actually helping you to make better decisions and to start to predict what could happen. And then all the way to level 5 is where you have kind of this AI training where it's starting to make informed decisions and autonomous decisions based on the data that is coming in. So I know it sounds very aspirational, but as I said, there's plenty of organizations that have gone on the journey, and there is small, wins across the way here. It's not like I won't see any value till I get to level 5. There's value in every single one of these phases. And then just to close this out, again, we talked about using this for simulating changes to production lines, production layouts, if you want to make a big change in the layout of your business. If you want to look at future packaging as well, and how that would look like within the digital environment. How does this impact energy use, product quality before you commit to making those real world adjustments? See this digital twin in Unity as almost like a test lab for innovation before you make these changes. Being able to model all of this, and eventually, as I said, really helping you to forecast, even as we, as you look at all this data over the years, this is going to be helping you, right? And then, as we said, digital twins aren't just for planning. If you want to train someone, if you want to sell something, if you want to promote something, if you want to present something, this is the future. 3D experiences are something that are going to become quite commonplace for businesses to have something that you can interact with and that you can, go through and learn in this way. It's just becoming more and more common, and we're giving people the tools to be able to do that. All right, that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miguel. That was fascinating. A really powerful tool. And now we're going to turn to Jason Crawford from Food and Beverage Ontario, who's going to build on what Miguel has said about how food and beverage manufacturers can make use of the tool.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you for the invite to the webinar as well, and to the team at FPSC. Miguel, thank you for that oversight, because I think you explained a lot of what our processors are asking about the program. So thank you for that intro. For those who don't know me, my name is Jason Crawford, and as Kevin mentioned, I'm the Director of Membership and Industry Relations at FBO. Our sector is facing real challenges today. Pressure to boost productivity, rising input and energy costs, and ongoing struggles to find and keep skilled labor. And at the same time, regulations and customer expectations around safety and sustainability are only increasing. The reason we partnered with OCC on this is we believe it's a tool that's going to help processors with a lot of the challenges they're facing today. As Miguel had shared with everybody, the possibilities that this tool can do to help you in the plants, we think it is a really valuable tool. The program is about giving processors practical solutions to help improve productivity, upskill employees. We hear that a lot through the Careers Now program, that the employers are looking for help upskilling employees, control costs, and close some labor gaps, exactly the issues that our sector is facing. Again, I personally see this as a benefit from, and again, Miguel's touched on a number of these, simulate and test changes before spending the money. We see a lot of processors who've gone through that exercise of investing a lot of money, and then at the end of the day, it doesn't work out to be the way they wanted it to be. So with this system, it allows you to test it before you invest a whole lot of money. Processes are going to cut down on downtime and reduce waste by identifying bottlenecks in a virtual model. Improving of food safety and compliance, responding to sustainability pressures. So overall, I say we see from a processor standpoint, it's a really valuable tool. And again, we think that a lot of processors take advantage of it. Jason's going to get into a little bit more of the getting involved in the program. But for us, again, a hugely valuable tool, and we appreciate the partnership with OCC and Unity.
Thank you,
Back to you,
Jason.
Kevin.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was fantastic. It's so relevant for everyone. It's a no-brainer to get a digital twin of your facility, just for all of the reasons that both Miguel and Jason have outlined. So now we'll go over to Jason Chang from Ontario Chamber of Commerce, who will tell you exactly how you can get involved with a digital twin.
Yeah, thanks so much, Kevin, and thank you to FPSC for organizing this webinar and having us on. We're delighted to be, the lead partner and the project manager for this very innovative upskilling opportunity for the agriculture and food and beverage industries. I know we're talking about food and beverage specifically here, but also for the ag sector as well. We're very excited to offer this to professionals and workers and employees in those sectors and related sectors as well. Let me talk a little bit about why we brought these partners together to create this program. Our friends in the agriculture and food and beverage sector, as we talk to them, they talk about the challenges of having the skilled labor needed to address the challenges in agri-food today and into the future. That includes technology. It also includes recruiting talent, because you want the sector to be exciting, and using technology creates that excitement. We talked to our friends at Unity who are saying, well, digital twinning, using 3D models and spaces, being able to simulate things in a virtual environment, that's already being used and adopted in various industries around the world. Agri-food may be a little bit behind in that. And we thought, wow, what a great way to bring together our friends at Food Processing Skills Canada, Food and Beverage Ontario, as well as Canadian Agriculture Human Resource Council with Unity to develop this tailored program for the agri-food sector. So I'm very pleased to do that and work with the folks on this call. We are funded by Upskill Canada, powered by Pallet Skills and the Government of Canada. And what that means is the training and the license, the industry license that Miguel talked about, that's the top of the line license for the software, comes absolutely free to you as well. So there's really no cost to participate in this program except for your time and your willingness to learn. Just a little bit about the program, who it's for. I mentioned it is for agriculture and food and beverage processors. So from the agriculture side, it's the farmers, the greenhouses, etc. But on the food and beverage side specifically, it could be anybody from breweries and wineries and cideries and other beverage producers to dairy products, bakery, cannabis products, animal food, fruit and vegetable preservings. Oops, sorry, I skipped over. Meat products, seafood products, anything you can think about related to food and beverage processing, those businesses are all eligible. Miguel highlighted that the training happens over a 12-week program. This program is all done virtually online, and it is one live session of 3 hours every single week. And that happens at the same time of day and on the same day of week for 12 straight weeks. And we have start times and start days that are on different days of the week, as well as morning and afternoon and evening options to tailor to anybody's schedule. We already have 2 cohorts taking the course right now, one in July and one in August, and we are currently signing up people for our next cohort that starts on September 4th. So if you're interested in getting into our next cohort, I'll let you know how you can get in touch with us to do that. But we also have cohorts scheduled later on through to December so that we can get everybody into the program. Miguel mentioned this, the industry level license for 12 months to use the software, but with that, you also still get access to all the training tools. You're going to get recordings of the live training sessions. There's 400 hours, I believe, Miguel, of other self-paced learning that you can do in Unity. So again, it is a journey of learning. You're going to get a lot of foundations during those 12 weeks through the live sessions, as well as some self-paced learning in between those live sessions. But beyond that, you have access to the tools and the knowledge tools available there to continue that journey. Another great feature about our program is we have employer stipends of up to $2,000 per participant for the employer, for the business, to help with the offset the cost of the time that employee might be taking to take the program. So not only are you getting the training for free, the software for free, we're also providing a stipend for participants who are finishing the 12-week program. Unity's created 3 credentials or badges for successful completion of different parts of the program. So your employees are going to get upskilled and they can share that and be rewarded with those credentials. Miguel talked about the types of things you'll learn in terms of 3D modeling and simulating and visualization. So I won't get into more detail there. And for successful participants through those 12 weeks, following those 12 weeks, if desired, you may have be able to access some free AI training as well. We know AI is a very hot topic today, and AI integrates with digital twinning as well, as Miguel explained, as you go down that digital twin journey. So we're offering some basic foundational AI training as well, not only through the Unity course, but then some additional training beyond that, if interested. Why it matters, I think Miguel did a great job highlighting why it matters, and Jason Crawford, you spoke from a food and beverage industry side of why it matters. I kind of break it down into, some general use cases, right? One is just for visualization purposes, whether you're doing a presentation, whether it's for marketing, whether it's an internal presentation, or you're trying to show something to a potential investor or a potential buyer, a client, just being able to visualize your products, your production facilities, can be very, very valuable. And then you can go along that journey a little bit further, right? That visualization can take you into an opportunity to use digital twins to train your employees, right? When you have something in a digital space, you can train new employees to do about your processes, about the entire operation, or a specific piece of machinery in your food or beverage production line. You can start integrating data as well and use digital twins to monitor your systems, right? Monitor your water usage or your energy usage, and then further to that, help you make better decisions on how you might, in terms of inputs and outputs and waste, So many different uses for digital twins. Miguel highlighted some of them, but I think it really we're at the forefront of innovation. We want to make sure that businesses in Canada and in Ontario can be the leader in food and beverage processing and make use of technology. That's why we developed this program, so that we can really help businesses level up and stay ahead of the curve as we try to improve our efficiencies and productivities in a global economy. Some of the businesses that are already learning today, these are the types of businesses that are enrolled in our first two cohorts. We've got bakeries, we've got breweries and wineries, cideries, ready-to-drink beverages, dairy products, snack foods, health foods, cooking sauces and spices, prepared packaged meals, cannabis products, technology suppliers, including robotics. Those are kind of in the food and beverage processing side, some agriculture examples there in terms of farms and livestock. Your colleagues, your competitors are already taking this course, so join them in this journey. Give your employees new tools to elevate your business with digital innovation. And I want to stress that this program was designed with unity in collaboration with our industry partners, understanding a little bit more about agriculture and food and beverage processing. So the things that you're learning in those 12 weeks are relevant to agriculture and food and beverage processing operations. And it's designed for businesses large and small. We have companies as small as 2 people participating. They might be the owners of the companies. Yes, the owners can participate as well, to companies that are much, much larger with over 1,000 employees. And you don't need to know anything about digital twins to get started. Well, you listened to Miguel's presentation, so everyone knows a little bit about digital twins now, but you don't need to have interacted with digital twins before or know how to build digital twins before. As long as you have some core and foundational digital computer skills, you're able to install and download software, work with files, and have come with an open mind to learn, you can enroll in this program. So how do you get started? How do you enroll? Well, there's a couple of ways. One is if you have your phone and you want to scan that QR code, that will take you to a form that you can fill out. Our team will get back to you right away to give you more information about the program and help you sign up. We also have a webpage with a lot of information. It includes our full program guide, more information about how the program runs, examples of digital twins and how they're being used in the industry. That's at occ.ca/programs/seeding digital skills. If you just go to the occ.ca website and click on programs, then you can click on seeding digital skills. You can find the information there, and the link to that form is also on our website. And if you just have further inquiries, want to know more and want to get in touch, we monitor seeding skills at occ.ca. That email we monitor every day, and we'll get back to you right away. And again, our next cohort is starting on September 4th, and we are trying to register a few more people into that cohort and get people started on their digital twin journey.
Thank you very much, Jason. And that's fantastic. Whenever I've seen similar programs or talked to employers that have gone through those sorts of exercises, they usually say, oh, I was able to find an efficiency here or increase my productivity here, and it paid for itself in a few months or inside 6 months. But when the cost is free and there's a stipend for the employee time loss, it's you're not you're going to get that ROI right away. So it's
immediate
fantastic.
ROI. Yeah, absolutely, Kevin.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so we've got a few questions that have come in. So the first one I think is for Jason from OCC. Somebody has asked if they can sign up as an individual or do they need their employer to sign them up?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kevin. And this program is designed for employers. And so it does have to be the employer who signs up their employees. You could be the employee who signs up, who also can speak or sign documents on behalf of the employer, but an employer will need to sign what we call a recipient agreement in order to register their employees and then get access to, or give their employees access to the training as well as the license to the software.
Great. All right. Now there's a few questions just about, you've mentioned that you don't need any prior experience with digital twins to participate, but we have two questions. I'll combine them here, but Somebody's asked about the level of computer skills that are needed before they join, and then someone else has asked, what are the hardware and software bandwidth requirements that you need to have? So, Jason or Miguel, either one of you can jump on that one.
Yeah,
Miguel, maybe you'd like to start.
yeah, I can definitely start. So to the question around knowledge on digital twins, as Jason was saying, it's not a requirement that you come with experience of digital twins. When it comes to computer literacy, yes, it's absolutely useful to have already used computers, have a basic level of knowledge of IT and computer literacy. A lot of what we ask folks to do is download software, open and save files, unzip, compress files, things like that. So hopefully, if you've used computers over the years, you would know all of that. But that's basically it because this is Unity at a beginner's level. So once you do download the software, we give you all of the steps to be able to get Unity up and running on your computer, open it, being able to navigate and understand all of the features and functionality. So it's at a very basic beginner level. But obviously, yes, the computer literacy needs to be there to begin with. In terms of the minimum specs, we do share with participants the minimum things like RAM, processing power, graphics cards, things like that that you would need to be able to open and use Unity. So we do provide that before the program just so that you can check, make sure that you're comfortable that your machine is going to be able to run Unity. And then in terms of internet connection, we also give a kind of a minimum in terms of what to expect there with speeds. What I will say and what we found with participants is that people will sometimes, have different speed in terms of how quickly something can be downloaded or how quickly something can be opened, which is okay as well because, we have a very flexible program. We do give you everything that you need to do before the session. So if you follow all of the steps, you will have time before the session to download and open things. And then if you haven't had time to do that, you still have time after those sessions as well. We do have access, you have access to hundreds of hours of courses and content that is going to help you outside of the session itself. So if for whatever reason you feel like you haven't been able to keep up with everything that's being shown in the session, we do have a platform where you can continue to learn. Also, every session is recorded. So if for whatever reason you feel like maybe you dropped off a little bit or you didn't catch up, the sessions are recorded and you have access to those recordings on the platform. So you can always go back, you can watch whatever portion you need to watch, and that's all within the same platform where you get the courses as well. So it's a very flexible program in that way.
Yeah, and just to add to that in terms of the technical and hardware requirements, we've put some of those specifications in our program guide as well as our website, so you can find the information there. If you are having trouble figuring out whether your machine has those specifications, we're putting together a little bit of a guide, a walkthrough of how people can look on their computer and see what those specifications are so that you can match them up. And our team is always willing to walk you through that during on a call or either a phone call or a virtual call so that you can be comfortable before you start the journey of training.
Excellent. All right. There's another technical question that we'll get to. And they're asking, can the technology integrate with our existing SCADA/PLC systems, or would we need new infrastructure?
Yeah,
So I think,
I can answer that.
yeah.
Yeah. So absolutely, it can integrate with both. So from a data collection standpoint, people are already bringing PLC data. So if you look at control machines, sending data into Unity for things, around temperatures, motor speeds, sensor readings, alarms, things like that. All of that information can be fed into Unity and integrated. Same thing for if we think of, I'm kind of thinking of an example here, but if you have a bottling plant and you're running, you have PLCs, you're looking at the filling, the capping, the labeling machines, things like that, that can all be fed into Unity. And you can look at that data visualized within Unity. And, a supervisor can click on the machine, for example. You can see a record of maintenance logs that are coming in for that machine. You can see failure predictions as well based on the data that is being fed in there. And all of this can be shared as well. So you can share with whoever you want in the business or also externally. But yes, both of those, all that data can be integrated today into Unity and digital twins.
Fantastic. There's a few questions that were asked specifically about dairy, so keep that in mind when answering. But I think both questions are applicable to all food and beverage manufacturers. The first one is, what are the limitations of the technology? They asked in a dairy processing environment, but I think in any food and beverage manufacturing environment.
I guess it really depends what we mean by limitations. If we're thinking about limitations from like a hardware or structural perspective, one of the biggest things I would say is not really limitation, but it's really knowing where you want to start. Because if you think about digital twins, it's very easy to get overwhelmed quite easily because you see these, again, I know I showed some examples of these massive operations. You have a factory, or you have shipping logistics that are all being visualized and within a digital twin. But I want to bring it back home. The digital twin, the first step is thinking of a very specific use case within your business. And it could be the easiest thing from we want to focus on one tool, one piece of equipment, or I just would like to visualize one of my machines, or one of my, we have people that I said, I just want to bring in, a greenhouse. I want to bring in a small part of the work that I do or a product that I have, and I want to bring that into Unity. I want to visualize it, and I want to learn what interactions I can build with it. And that is relatively very feasible within a short few months. And that is when we talked about a digital twin, that is level one, is being able to bring anything you want from your physical operations, from the smallest of things to the largest, bringing that into Unity, visualizing that, and navigating in a 3D space, and then building interactions into it. So things like labels, things like being able to take that tool apart and show how every single part works together. That is level one, and that's still very useful because if you think about presenting this to an audience, we all need to sell in some way, promote what we do. So if you think about the ways that you can promote your business and things, that is one way to do it. It'd be amazing if this is a product that you're trying to promote. Maybe this is a new launch of a product that you have or something where you like somebody to come and being able to visit being able to manipulate that product, you could send them a link, and now instead of maybe a PDF document or PowerPoint slides, they click on this wonderful link that now takes them into a 3D space that they can navigate and travel to and manipulate whatever you sent them, which is a much better way to get someone to really understand what it is that you do. So that's all level one, and that's all very feasible. So that's where we start with the program is how can we get you to level one? And we do share, if you're thinking about, well, I don't know what I'd like to share, I don't know where to start. We do have plenty of scenes and models and assets that are ready out of the box in this program. So whether we have a factory, we have a production line, you can immediately open that and see an example of that. So you'll have a very detailed digital twin that we're giving you as a project file. You'll be able to open that on your laptops and computers. So you'll see this wonderful factory, very highly visualized. You'll have a whole production line that you can look at as well. We have farms in there. We have plenty of assets that you will be able to open in Unity and start to learn, which hopefully will then spark your imagination and inspire you on the possibility. So all of that is available as part of the program.
Well,
Fantastic.
Miguel, if I may just jump in
Sure.
and add to that, one of the things I love about your design of the program and our design of the program together is the fact that we're asking and inviting participants to bring in their ideas and those, a use case that they want to work on into the project and into the program that they can work on through those 12 weeks and get to the end of 12 weeks, have something that's demonstrable, have something that, works as a minimum viable product, and have the instructors guide them through some of the things that they can do through those 12 lessons and the self-studying to get them to that point. So I love that about this program. And one of the things I go back to our very first cohort that started in July, a couple of the participants and what they said about why they wanted to join the digital twinning course that we're offering, the Seeding Digital Twins course. There was a brewery who were saying they have some waste products currently that they're thinking about reprocessing, and they're thinking about how can we use digital twins to help them plan for, using that waste product and reprocessing that on a new line or in a new processing step. Another company was saying that they're thinking about expanding their operation and how they could use digital twins to help them plan for that expansion, model different scenarios for that expansion. And on the agriculture side, I know one of the businesses involved in agro-robotics was saying, how can we use digital twins within the context of agro-robotics to do more with what the robot can do? So those are some examples of real companies who are taking the training now, who had some idea of what they want to do, but really, as Miguel said, some of the applications are quite limitless.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think too that if anyone's stumped, you can certainly reach out to OCC, Food and Beverage Ontario, or Food Processing Skills Canada, and we can share with you some examples that we've heard from industry of what they've done with this sort of tools and the impact that they were able to see quickly. That goes really well into our next question, which is, how would I use a digital twin to improve traceability and food safety compliance in a dairy facility, but again, in any facility, really?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, when we talk about compliance in any form, and especially with safety, what I've seen many customers is actually building simulations that will take everybody through the steps of, we think of health and safety. What are the steps that need to be taken, should be taken to operate something safely, to ensure that there is compliance, that we're following the rules, following the steps. So when we talk about a simulation, many of our customers are building simulations where an employee is taken through all of those steps to really understand, these are the steps that must be taken in order that you are compliant, and they're able to do that within a 3D space. One of the things that I've heard is crane operators. One of the great use cases, they don't need to spend as much time in the actual crane, going up into the crane. There's a whole 3D environment where they're trained to do this and to do it safely. And you also build simulations into things like, if things do go wrong, these are the alerts, these are the signals that you're going to see, and then being able to fix, to troubleshoot. So they're able to troubleshoot through that 3D environment. But also, if you think about from a production standpoint, if there's ever any shifts in machinery, or in any way it's operating in a way that is not optimal, or there's been a significant decrease in efficiency and output, any change, there's so many signals that you can think of. If for any reason it's falling outside of that safe range that you've established in the system, a digital twin, for example, will bring up the machine that seems to be having trouble, and will have an exclamation mark. We'll have a red dot that appears over the machine, and it's going to send you that signal. You'll be able to click on the machine, bring it up, and it starts to feed you the data of what is happening, where has it fallen outside of the safe range, and it's giving you that information. Do what you will, but it's warning you beforehand, because it's already getting data that is falling outside of the safe limits, the temperature that you've selected, right? Or the drop in output or efficiency that it's seeing, and then tells you which part it's more likely to fail, and telling you this is something that you may want to look into in terms of maintenance, right? And another thing as well, if you think about processes, or Jason was talking about, thinking about changes that you want to make. It's being able to, if you're going to be putting machinery that maybe is larger than what you had before, whether it's a dairy or whether it's a food processing plant, bringing in, and I actually did hear this from someone, I guess they were in a very old barn, they were converting, and they were bringing in new machinery into the barn. They said, well, we did bring it, but we wish we had visualized that, because it ended up taking a lot more space than what we realized. And that's a decision. I mean, that's a big decision to bring these machines in. and they realized that they would have loved to have their whole facility visualized and being able to bring those 3D assets in to then see how those machines were going to fit within the existing infrastructure. And so that's something else that you could do in a digital twin very easily, is take all those measurements, bring those things in, and there's nothing like actually walking and getting a feel. You might say, if you looked at a 2D, you went, well, it fits. Here's the length and here's the building, it all fits, it's great. There's nothing like suddenly seeing that thing in front of you and walking into the 3D factory and actually seeing, well, there's a lot less space for people to get through here or walk through here with this, right? Or it's more of a risk now with this new machine, but you're only realizing that because it's like you're there. You're in the 3D environment. So that's also what you want to think about. It's sometimes difficult to measure that. But that's the other beauty of this, is that when you have it in a 3D space, it's a completely different thing than actually seeing a picture, just seeing a CAD model of this. That's another great aspect, a great way to think about this.
Yeah, excellent answer. The next question is along the same lines, and I'm going to modify it a little bit and throw it to Jason from FBO. The question was around using a digital twin to create a virtual tour of the plant for training, audits, or visitor engagement. But I also think of it as for careers now and a career awareness tool, like being able to have some of these facilities where you can show people and look at how efficient it is and how everything works would be really valuable. I'd just love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, and again, I think Miguel can probably answer the practical side of creating that. But yeah, from our perspective, creating that experience where people can actually see what's happening on the floor, I mean, I think is a huge value. It also it's not easy to get people through a lot of plants, so this would make it much more convenient for sure.
Yeah, and I would just add to that. I've talked a lot about you navigating in the space, you taking that tour. To build on that, you can actually build a timeline, so you can actually decide how people or what people see when they jump into your scene. So what that means is that it's almost like you have recorded a predetermined tour. So you can also, people don't necessarily need to interact or press anything. They could simply open up the link that you've given them, and then suddenly they're taking a tour within your operations, and it's all been predetermined. So you decide which path it should take, you decide what to highlight, what to show them. So you also have the option to build all of that in a kind of more of a timeline perspective. Or you could blend it where you have the predetermined tour, but you also let people click on things and get information about your operations. So it is great for all of those things, from a marketing perspective to auditing, to a whole new way to immerse someone in a presentation versus just sharing a PDF document or slides with them.
And just on the auditing piece as well, like in your presentation, you were talking about how people can just have the digital twin on their iPad. So you could have the person with the auditor able to pull up whatever information they want in real time, as well as
Exactly.
their historical
Yeah,
data. So
and a lot of people have told us a lot better than looking at a spreadsheet. So
excellent. We've only got a few questions left, which is perfect. We've got a few minutes left as well. They're both registration questions, so I think they'll be over to you at OCC, Jason. The first one is that my company is still in the startup stage. Am I eligible to participate?
The short answer is yes. We would love, I mean, I think Miguel highlighted some great use cases, right? If you're a company looking to build a new facility, or you're launching a new product, what a great way to start your digital twin journey that way and bring innovation right from the start of your business. So yes, startups can be eligible. You do need to be a registered business, whether you are a corporation, whether you're a partnership or sole proprietorship. We will ask for some documentation to show that you are a business. But yes, startups are absolutely eligible.
Excellent. Oh, we just got a new question that came in, so I'll ask that one. How does the included $20,000 Unity license work? Is it limited to the training period, or does it extend beyond?
Right. So maybe I'll start, and Miguel, you can jump in for what happens after the license expires. But the $20,000 value refers to both the training and the license, as well as the stipend that we're providing. So the license itself doesn't cost the full $20,000, but the training package in total is worth about 20,000 Canadian dollars. And you do have that industry level license. That's the top level license that Unity has for 12 months. But there are different levels of license as any software is. So I'll let Miguel maybe take over from here.
Yeah, absolutely. So you do have access to that license after the end of the program. So once you do the 12 weeks, you won't need to change anything around. The same license that you've been using in the program is the one that you'll be using afterwards. Now, after you complete the first year of using your industry license, you will have a few options. You can either choose to renew that license yourself, and we can share what those costs would look like as an individual, as a business. The license is always tied to one individual, so it's not a license that can be shared by many people at once. Everyone it takes your email, and it's that registered user will use that license. However, we do have many different types of licenses, so you can either decide that what you're building and what you're going to be using for is going to need to be supported with what comes as part of an industry license. But then we do have other types of licenses. So if you're a business that's making less than 1 million in revenue, we do have many other options for you when it comes to licenses, and we can share that with you just to make sure that that's something that would work for your business. And if not, you can continue and you can renew the industry license. And that is also an annual cost that will come with that. We have recently launched an industry trial, so there is potentially a trial that you can take if you, for example, want to share it with other people in your business. They are able to use industry for free for 30 days. So if you think that there will be somebody else from the business that needs access to it, we do have an option for them to basically do everything that you've done with the license and use that for up to 30 days. And then you can decide whether you want to continue as well.
But I think this is why this partnership that we have is so powerful through funding from Upskill Canada, powered by Pilot Skills and the Government Canada, through our relationship with Unity Technologies, being able to offer participants in the program that full 12-month ability to use that industry license to understand what it can do and whether they need to continue with that industry license because they think, their digital twin journey is going to continue, or they can do with a different type of license. We give you that tool and that time frame to explore and to keep learning and to learn more and see how digital twinning can be part of your business. We really remove that barrier of getting started in digital twins through this program, not only with the learning and be able to learn about digital twins from the experts, but also with the free tool as well.
All right, we'll sneak in the last question here. It was design. It was a person's asking about if they're design and implement food processing systems, and so they're not the manufacturer of food themselves. Are they able to participate in the program?
Well, that's a really good question. And the short answer or the general answer is yes. It will depend a little bit, but yes, industries that service the food and beverage sector, that's such as manufacturers and suppliers of equipment, of technology. We talked about having robotics companies already in the program and they're eligible. Certain technology implementation consultants may be eligible as well. Some of this may be on a case-by-case basis, but yes, absolutely. Those adjacent industries, if you're in those adjacent industries that support agriculture and food and beverage processing, please, and you're interested in the program, please inquire with us.
Excellent. Well, thank you, everyone. That was fantastic. And I'll just pass it back to Tracy for the closing.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone. That was a really interesting and very insightful presentation. I can see the many uses that this Unity partnership can benefit our food and beverage processors. So really like to encourage everyone to take advantage of it and just even go in there and try it out because it's pretty cool. We will be sending the link to this webinar recording, and it will be put up on our FPSC YouTube channel shortly, as well as a copy of the presentation. So please keep an eye out for that. Thank you for attending email. And please join us on September the 18th for our next Speaking Food webinar with Laura Fair. Bye, everyone, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks all.